Imagine you are standing outside your cave at dusk. Your fire is weak, your food is gone. Above you, a black bird lands on a dead tree. It watches you. It has wings. It has meat. It looks like survival. Would you eat it? Most people would say yes. A bird is a bird. Meat is meat. Hunger does not care about feathers. But ancient humans learned something brutal. Not every animal that can be eaten should become food. A chicken became dinner. A crow became a warning. A seagull became a thief of scraps. An eagle became a symbol of power. And the reason is deeper than taste, much deeper. The false answer is simple. People think humans eat chickens because chickens taste good. That is true, but it is not the real reason. Taste came later. First came survival. First came risk. First came the question every prehistoric family had to answer. Can we trust this animal? Can we catch it again? Can we feed it? Can we breed it? Can we eat it without bringing danger into the camp? That is where the story begins. Long before supermarkets, long before farms, long before fried chicken. Early humans lived in a dangerous food world. Every meal was a gamble. A berry could poison you. A root could make you sick. A dead animal could carry disease. A bird could look clean from far away, then kill you after one bad bite. So ancient humans became observers. They watched animals. They watched what animals ate. They watched where animals lived. They watched what happened after people ate them. This knowledge became survival memory. It passed from parents to children. Eat this, avoid that. Cook this longer. Never touch that bird. Those rules were not random. They were written by hunger, and sometimes by death. Now look at a chicken. A chicken is almost designed for the human world. It stays close to the ground. It eats seeds. It eats grain. It eats insects. It eats leftovers. It lays eggs. It grows quickly. It breeds quickly. It can live near people. It does not need to chase prey. It does not need vast territory. It does not need to kill another animal before it can feed itself. That made it useful. But usefulness was only the first layer. The deeper reveal is energy. Every animal is an energy machine. Food enters, body comes out. The question is, how much food must go in? A chicken eats low on the food chain. Grain becomes chicken. Seeds become eggs. Insects become muscle. The energy loss is manageable. Humans can feed a flock, then eat the flock. That is a good deal. Now imagine trying to raise hawks. A hawk does not eat grain. A hawk eats animals. To feed one hawk, you need many smaller creatures. To feed many hawks, you need a mountain of prey. Then you still have to stop them from escaping. You still have to stop them from attacking each other. You still have to stop them from attacking you. That is not farming. That is a survival nightmare. Ancient people did not need a scientific chart to understand this. They saw it. The seed eater was easier. The hunter was harder. The flock was useful. The predator was expensive. This is why the birds on human menus often share a hidden pattern. Chickens, ducks, geese, turkeys, pigeons, quail. Many of them eat close to the bottom of the food chain. They eat plants, they eat seeds, they eat grains, they eat insects. They eat small and predictable things. Humans could understand their diet. Humans could copy their diet. Humans could control their diet. And control changed everything. Because an animal's body is partly a record of its life, what it eats matters. Where it lives matters. What it touches matters. A chicken raised beside a human settlement can be watched. Its food can be watched. Its water can be watched. Its eggs can be collected. Its chicks can be protected. Its life becomes predictable, and predictable food feels safe. Now look at the crow. The crow is not just a black chicken. That is the first mistake. A crow is clever. Very clever. It remembers faces. It solves problems. It studies danger. It opens containers. It steals food. It uses the human world like a giant puzzle. That intelligence helps it survive, but it makes it difficult to control. A crow does not see a cage. It sees a challenge. A crow does not see a locked box. It sees a future meal. A crow does not forget the person who trapped it. And a bird that remembers your face is not an easy farm animal. But intelligence is still not the main reason. The deeper reveal is diet. Crows eat almost anything. They eat insects, they eat eggs, they eat small animals, they eat human leftovers, they eat roadkill, they eat dead animals, they eat garbage, they eat spoiled food. They eat whatever the world gives them. That makes a crow one of nature's best survivors, but it makes its meat unpredictable. A hungry prehistoric person could see a crow near a carcass. They could see it pulling at dead flesh. They could see it feeding beside waste. They could see it near sickness and decay. Then the lesson becomes obvious. If that bird eats death, maybe death can travel back through the bird. That is not perfect science, but it is powerful survival logic. Ancient humans did not know words like bacteria. They did not know words like parasites. They did not know words like chemical contamination. But they understood patterns. They knew that rot brought sickness. They knew that foul water brought sickness. They knew that dead animals could bring sickness. They knew some foods were safer than others. And a scavenger bird looked like bad luck with wings. A seagull creates the same problem. People see a white bird over blue water. They imagine clean wind. They imagine fresh fish. They imagine freedom. But gulls are not always clean ocean hunters. Many gulls are scavengers. They raid trash. They eat scraps. They eat dead animals. They steal food from streets. They gather around landfills. They swallow almost anything soft enough to fit. To an ancient human, that bird would have looked suspicious. To a modern human, it still does. Because nobody wants to feel like they are eating garbage twice. That feeling matters. Food is never only biology. Food is also trust. A chicken feels clean because we know its role. It lives near us. It eats food we recognize. It lays eggs in places we control. A gull feels dirty because it lives at the edge of waste. A crow feels risky because it eats what other animals leave behind. That emotional reaction is not silly. It comes from old survival instincts. Your brain wants to know where food has been. Your brain wants to know what food touched. Your brain wants to know if food carries danger. And there is another layer. The food chain has consequences. A tiny insect may carry a little contamination. A small animal eats many insects. A predator eats many small animals. A scavenger eats animals that may already be weak or sick. With every step upward, some harmful substances can become more concentrated. Ancient humans could not measure mercury. They could not test lead. They could not name pesticides. But they could notice that some animals were not worth the risk. Today, the science gives us a clearer picture. Pollutants can move through food webs. Some contaminants can build up inside animal bodies. Predators can collect more of them over time. Scavengers can feed from uncertain sources. So the old instinct had a modern explanation. Eat lower on the chain. Eat what eats plants. Eat what eats grain. Avoid the animal that eats everything else. But even safety does not fully explain it. Here comes the next reveal. Domestication is not capture. Domestication is cooperation. A wild animal can be trapped. That does not make it domestic. A wild animal can be fed. That does not make it a farm animal. A wild animal can be born in captivity. That still does not mean it will fit into human life. True domestication takes generations. It favors animals that tolerate people. It favors animals that breed under human control. It favors animals that stay near home. It favors animals that live in groups. It favors animals with predictable behavior. Chickens had many of those traits. They could form social groups. They could reproduce quickly. They could live in confined spaces. They could accept a steady food supply. They could become part of a village. Crows had the opposite traits. They were alert. They were suspicious. They were highly adaptable. They were hard to fool. They were built for freedom. A crow does not want to become a meat machine. It wants to outsmart the meat machine. Now think about ancient villages. Every animal had to earn its place. Dogs could guard. Goats could provide milk. Sheep could provide wool. Cattle could pull loads. Chickens could provide eggs and meat. But what would a crow provide? It could steal stored food. It could scatter scraps. It could attract attention. It could escape. It could teach other crows where the food was hidden. For a village trying to survive winter, that is not an asset. That is competition. And humans rarely build cuisine around their smartest competitors. Culture, then, made the boundary even stronger. The birds people feared became symbols. Ravens became linked with battlefields. Crows became linked with death. Vultures became linked with corpses. Owls became linked with darkness. Eagles became linked with kings and empires. Hawks became linked with war and hunting. Once an animal becomes a symbol, eating it becomes harder. You do not casually eat the bird that carries messages from the gods. You do not casually roast the bird that circles over the dead. You do not casually turn a royal symbol into a snack. Meanwhile, chickens stayed ordinary. And ordinary is exactly what food needs to be. Food must feel familiar. Food must feel reliable. Food must feel repeatable. A chicken did not rule the sky. it ruled the yard. That was enough. But humans have eaten crows. Humans have eaten gulls. Humans have eaten almost every bird imaginable. Famine changes rules. War changes rules. Isolation changes rules. Desperation changes rules. When hunger becomes severe, culture can collapse in a single day. The bird you once avoided can become dinner. But survival food is not the same as normal food. A person can eat something once. That does not mean they want to raise it forever. The real test is not whether an animal is edible. The real test is whether it can support a stable food system. Can it be raised cheaply? Can it reproduce fast? Can it be fed safely? Can it be kept nearby? Can people trust it? Can millions of people eat it again and again? Chicken passed that test. Crow did not. And that is why the answer is not simply flavor. It is not simply tradition. It is not simply fear. It is a chain of ancient decisions. Diet created risk. Risk shaped trust. Trust shaped domestication. Domestication shaped culture. Culture shaped the menu. And the menu shaped how we see birds today. When you see a chicken, you see food. When you see a crow, you see intelligence. When you see a seagull, you see a scavenger. When you see an eagle, you see power. But all of them have feathers. All of them have muscle. All of them are biologically made of meat. The difference is not what they are. The difference is what their lives mean to humans. The chicken became dinner because it fit beside us. It ate what we could provide. It reproduced where we could see it. It gave us eggs before it gave us meat. It was predictable. It was controllable. It was familiar. The crow became a warning because it lived beyond control. It ate from death and waste. It watched us back. It survived without our permission. And perhaps that is the deepest reason of all. Ancient humans did not choose chickens because chickens were weak. They chose chickens because chickens could become part of the tribe. Crows never needed the tribe. They had their own rules. They had their own intelligence. They had their own wild world above the trees.